Welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on the Sunrise, right here on Relax Radio as well. Now, welcome back to the final hour of my show. Well, I have a lot of interesting things to keep you company with, which is what I'll be talking about today, which is basically the rise of the celebrity baby bump reveal. And I know this is, it sounds like something that's like meh, but actually, it's very very interesting because we're going to talk about what this means for the future of women. We're going to talk about what this means for everything that is especially for women in the music industry, but also what it means for the lifestyle of women. Right now we'll be talking about all of that, so make sure you stay tuned because I do have a lot of interesting facts. I have a lot of interesting things to share with you as well, so make sure you stay tuned. But before I get into this conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can get in touch with us by just texting us on 07852473473. You can be a part of this show and you can tell me anything, whether it's your opinion, your thoughts, your questions, whatever it is, you can tell me anything. Just drop me a text on that number that is below 07852473473 and share your thoughts and opinions with me because I would absolutely love to hear it from you. Okay, so make sure you do that. But before we move into the conversation, also just want to tell you you can follow us on our socials, and that is something you should do. And I'll tell you why. It's actually because you can stay up to date on everything. Okay, you can stay up to date on everything, literally, whether it's music, whether it's entertainment, gossip, science, health, current affairs, international news, local news, whatever it is, you can stay up to date. So make sure you do that because it's important, especially in this point of time. It's important. But that's why you should go follow us on our socials and make sure you download our app, which is also available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, because that, in fact, will help you be a part of this conversation at any time of the day you want. Whether it's 3 a.m., 12 p.m., 9 a.m., whatever time it is, make sure you get the app because you can always be a part of this conversation with us, okay? So let's get into this conversation of the rise of the celebrity baby bump reveal. Now, this is something very interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but since recently, a lot of celebrities have been revealing, their pregnancies, their baby bumps, and it's something that is celebrated a lot right now. So that's why it's actually very, very important because from Beyonce to Cardi B, pop culture pregnancy announcements are, in fact, both destigmatizing moments but also marketing opportunities. Now, we'll be talking about why they're both destigmatizing moments and also marketing opportunities, but make sure you stay tuned into this conversation. But let's talk about a very recent pregnancy announcement, right? Which was basically when Cardi B announced her pregnancy in a typically show-stopping fashion, just like that's just Cardi B's thing, right? She's show-stopping, and I have to say she's so talented as well. But because I absolutely love her, criticize me all you want, but I do love Cardi B. But she announced her pregnancy in this typically show-stopping fashion on stage, right? Because it was at the Bet Awards in Los Angeles, where it was during a performance with her husband Offset's band, which is Migos, and she appeared in this rhinestone encrusted bodysuit with a bulging baby bump, right? And we all know that when it comes to Cardi B, her sense of fashion, her clothes, she's so extra, but she wears it proudly. Like, she owns the extraness because she has that attitude and she has that sass, so she's very good at that, right? And then on Instagram she posted a profile photo of herself holding her baby bump, cradling the baby bump with only a white plaster cast on her body, and it was captioned with the simple hashtag too. And to actually get into this conversation, she isn't the only one who has been doing things like this, right? People like, or even celebrities rather, like Beyonce, Katy Perry, Kim Kardashian have all done it. And throughout the years, in fact, it has heightened because this performance based baby bump, or rather performance based celebrity baby bump reveal, has been normalized in recent years. Now, if you're thinking, if you're trying to imagine or even think back on some instances this actually happened, I can name so much, right? And it happens all the time, right? Because the moment you get pregnant, or the moment you have a child, you put it all over social media, you put it all over Instagram, whatever social media app you use, it's all over the internet, right? But also at the same time, things like having a baby, things like having a child, those are very private things in your life. So then that also brings us to this question of where is the line drawn between the celebrity and the fan? Because obviously with everything, with all these advancements we're having, with all this technological development that is happening around the world, we have to really question and ask everyone, ourselves as well, where you actually draw this line between the private life of the celebrity and what the fans or the public should know about their lives, right? Because like I said, when you're a celebrity, you're literally hounded by the press, right? You have literally no freedom, because every time you step out of the house, even if it's just to get some groceries, there will be paparazzi, there will be people, taking pictures of you and twisting headlines and making all different types of stories. That's just how media works. That's just how, when it comes to celebrities, when it comes to entertainment, that's just how it works, and that's a sad truth. But the thing is, when it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to something as private as pregnancy, where do you draw the line? Now it's very strange, right? Because this breaking the internet moment where commerce and personal life actually collide, like I said, you begin to question this boundary, whether this boundary exists, whether the boundary is disappearing bit by bit, because the boundary between the fan and the celebrity has become much more permeable due to social media. And this was actually said by the fashion lecturer Lisa Betts, who said that it would make sense when the distinctions between the public, private, and the fan celebrity relationship are becoming more blurred, that something as private as a pregnancy is shared. Right now, when Beyonce actually ended a performance of "Love on Top" at the 2011 MTV Awards, which was basically a year after Instagram was launched, she did that by unbuttoning her purple sequin tuxedo to show her pregnant belly. And it was this watershed moment for this type of discourse between a celebrity and the public, right? Because Beyonce is someone who's very, very private. Beyonce is someone who keeps her life very private, right? But obviously, when she shared this, it was just this huge moment for everyone, because she's pregnant, she's sharing something that is very private to her at this sort of music awards and whatnot. So obviously it was a very huge watershed moment for everyone, because everyone was confused, but also there were a lot of other thoughts with it as well. Now, like I said, for the notoriously private Beyonce, it was a way, pre-Beehive obviously, to connect intimately with her fans. And also in another way, it was actually to put love on top. Basically it was to put love on top back onto where it belonged, right? Because this song was actually very, Beyonce loved the song, but the thing was, the song had in fact underperformed commercially, and she just wanted to put this song back into the conversation. So the best way to do that was actually to announce a pregnancy during that song, because then when people hear that song, you would always remember that performance, you would remember that song with the fact that, oh, that's when Beyonce announced her pregnancy. It's such a significant moment, it's such a huge thing. So obviously when you want to watch it, or when you hear it, you will always have those memories sort of connected to it. That is what you will feel, and that is what you will see as well. Now, something else that's very, very significant was that the outfit she had chosen, a tuxedo, which is a very hugely gendered garment, and that was in fact what was chosen for this very feminine moment, right? Because then you sort of compare, like, it's interesting to actually compare this with her 2017 pregnancy reveal on Instagram, after after all these revelations of infidelity on her album Lemonade. That time that the singer actually revealed her bump, dressed in a veil and surrounded by flowers, and it was definitely, it felt more grown up, it felt more feminine, and it felt like a rebirth as well. So obviously, when it comes to all the celebrity bums, but if celebrity baby bump prevail, there is in fact a lot of conversation, and there is in fact a lot of things that we need to be talking about as well, because like I said, when it comes to pregnant women, when it comes to pregnant bodies, there is in fact a lot of stigmatization, right? Because we've all had this narrative, right, where we essentially expect like as soon as you give birth, as soon as you're out of labor, just a few weeks after, you're supposed to go back to having that perfect figure. You're supposed to go back to having, being very happy and acting like you just don't have any scars from on your body after giving birth, or any pain or any wounds left in your body after giving birth, which is in fact a very ridiculous notion, because we're all human. We all take different times to heal, and you can't expect a mother who just gave birth to go back to that perfect body, because it takes a while to actually adjust to the fact that you have a child, adjust to the fact that you need to take care of the child. Because as soon as the child is born, it's not like you can go back to your job, right? Is the baby is just born. You have to take care of the baby. You have to sort of look after the baby, and you always have to keep an eye on the baby because it's a newborn baby, right? So why this conversation is important is because this conversation actually tries to destigmatize the pregnant bodies, tries to destigmatize colored women's pregnant bodies as well. Because when it comes to pregnant bodies, when it comes to pregnancy in general, even though it's something that is celebrated, it's also something that's looked down upon a lot. Because when you're pregnant, your body gets big, your legs get swollen, your arms get swollen, and that's very normal. That's just a part of how your body sort of evolves. Your body sort of makes space for you to carry another child. And especially when it comes to singers, when it comes to celebrities, there's even more pressure on them, because we've always perceived them as as a bunch of people who are perfect, perfect skin, perfect figure, perfect clothes, always rich. So when you are a person that is constantly perceived as perfect by society, then there is in fact an added pressure for you to actually try and be perfect even after you gave birth, which is really ridiculous, right? Now stay tuned for this conversation, because we'll actually be back after a small break. But stay tuned, because this conversation is very interesting, and we will be talking about a lot of interesting stuff as well. But until then, let's head into this small break.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? But when you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. If you buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true, the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods, they're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth, and then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing. Right? And the company may still have value. It may still be doing quite a good things.
But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, has how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more